Everybody, make sure you hit up barstoolsports.com. Get yourself a blue and gold Saturdays for the boys t-shirt. They haven't sold out yet, so it's only a matter of time.
I'm a little iffy on those, if I'm being honest. It's a very mazy gold. It's looking like a blue and maize shirt, and I'm not trying to support maize.
I don't know what you're talking about. On the website, it says blue and gold.
It's a matter
but
of
it's
written down.
It actually says old blue and gold, so you could also wake up the echoes.
Oh, we are.
Also wake up the echoes
Because we are old.
You're old.
And
That's
we
fair.
are old.
College Game Day. All right, fuck them. Just right off the bat. College Game Day. I hope you see this. You won't, because
We're for you guys on the couch. Like,
fuck College Game Day. Are we gonna get any kind of press coverage this year? What's going on with that? Oh no, go ahead.
Not for this game. I mean, like, clearly, because fucking they want to go to Ohio State for the second time. But
NC State is an elite opponent, though. I mean,
yeah,
they're sick,
right.
dude.
What are they done? 14?
They've done so much in the history of that franchise. I mean, this is a historic rivalry matchup that we're heading into.
Oh, especially after the Hurricane game last year.
I saw the schedule this year. I saw NC State.
I circled it. I circled it immediately.
I'm like, fuck, we're getting NC State.
You gotta circle it in Sharpie, really, because there's no other options there.
That USC game was dope as shit. Michigan game, Michigan PSU, lame, boring, sad. No one wants to see that shit.
It was not a great game.
This was a historic game. The fucking history of Notre Dame USC. Who gives a fuck about Michigan PSU? Nobody's like, oh, I can't wait for the Michigan PSU game this year.
If it was Michigan Ohio State, fine, but PSU doesn't exactly have a strong rivalry with the rest of the Big Ten.
I really don't understand why everyone's coming out of the woodworks and calling Penn State rivals with Michigan State, Ohio State, and Michigan now.
It's literally just because they're in the Big Ten East.
It's the last 2 years. Suddenly they're rivals with all the big schools.
Yeah, no,
Since when?
They were like they were independent for a long time.
Who would be independent? Join a fucking conference. It's fucking stupid.
But as for game day, like, I mean, they do have like some reasoning in that, we do have the NBC deal, and I guess NBC is pretty strict on the money of the whole thing, in that, like, if game day were to come here, they would have to pay NBC how much money they would lose from the coverage.
Let me remind you that Ohio State and Penn State is on Fox this week, not ESPN, so they will be doing the same thing. They will be doing the same thing for that game, and they've already been to Ohio State.
And if ESPN really cared about money, do you think they would have cut Barstool Van Talk? No, it's not about money to them. It's all about the sponsors. Yeah, it's the hard-hitting shit right there.
Too soon. R.I.P. in peace. So, next topic?
So we're number 9 this week after demolishing a number 11 USC team.
In what ranking?
In the AP, of course. The ranking that really matters, the one that counts.
The college? The coaches poll?
Oh, the coaches poll counts a little bit less than the AP, actually. But the AP, by the time you see this, the AP's got about 5 days left of battering, so...
Relevancy.
So...
And we learned a lot about relevancy this week, didn't we, on Twitter?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't pay close attention to this account, the USC account, which has a massive following, might I say.
Rockin' 2,000, right?
I mean, after this week, after all the coverage that we got them. Rip in peace to that account after this week. They got nothing left going for them.
Basketball season, apparently, the only season that matters.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Which we'll be happy to see them.
But back to the point of relevancy. They tweeted at us saying that Notre Dame wasn't relevant?
Notre Dame wasn't relevant.
Notre.
In fairness, Notre Dame is not relevant.
Notre Dame is very relevant, though, and we actually just won by, what was it? Was it 7 points?
No.
14?
No.
Was it 21?
No.
28, right?
20? It had to have been at least, like, less than 28 points, right? 35. 49 to 14. Fucking, like, try. Like, at least make it fun for us. I mean,
okay, in fairness, that game was very fun.
It was dope.
It was fun to watch them die slowly.
Dance on their graves, like, watch that season just rot away, because,
But win the Pac-12. Win the Pac-12.
Yeah, win out, like, for us, win out. We'd appreciate that, but rip in peace to your season.
Back to the AP rankings, though. How do we feel about number 9 and the one that matters for 5
I was actually happy. Like, I thought we were only going to get number 10. Who else did we jump besides Oklahoma State? Like,
Oklahoma.
Okay, yeah.
Oklahoma team that had a big win on a last-second touchdown over a Kansas State team that lost to Vanderbilt.
All right, let's take a look at some of the teams that are ahead of us right now. Wisconsin, undefeated, sick dude.
Wisconsin's solid.
They have played a whole 0 teams with a winning record.
That's true. They haven't played anyone.
That is sick, Wisconsin.
But like that's just how the AP works.
I mean, God forbid they have like a shitty independent schedule. Oh God.
Where they have to play like ranked teams or something like that. God, couldn't imagine.
Clemson with
one
their
loss,
marquee win against.
Who did they?
Oh, who was that win again? Louisville lost to BC.
They did have a good loss on the road against a really like signature opponent.
I think I have it in my head is that somebody who's orange is one of the powerhouses of college football. It must be Syracuse.
I mean, if your mascot's named after a fruit and a color, you're probably a good football team. So to recap, our resume, we've only blown out Michigan State and USC. That's unimportant.
Who aren't ranked or anything.
We don't have a great loss considering we lost by a point to Georgia, who's. What are they ranked? Anything important?
3.
3. Actually, 3. They're not even in the top 2, so like.
Real talk.
Our season's ripped.
Will Georgia be number 1 when the college football rankings come out a week from now?
I mean, Bama's beaten nobody, so probably not.
I mean, that's perfect analysis though, because like it's just the entire nation has a hard-on for Bama. I don't even blame him. Saban's a monster genius.
We're currently behind Wisconsin, who hasn't beaten a team with a winning record. We're currently behind Clemson,
who has no real wins.
And who has lost to Syracuse.
Whose best win is Auburn, and lost to Syracuse.
We're behind Miami.
Who's actually looks awesome, and I can't wait to beat them.
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech was not their best win.
Florida State?
Oh my God, you're right. They've played no one.
Oh. They've played no one.
Yeah.
You don't realize this because of poll inertia. These teams haven't beaten anybody. They just started high, and they haven't fallen.
Well,
so we're behind OSU, whose best win is...
Nebraska. Army.
Ohio State.
Actually bad.
Wait.
They're
really beaten no one?
They beat nobody. No, I checked all this. None of these teams beat anybody.
Their only team with a winning record that they've played is Oklahoma.
And
who they lost to
Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma is ranked above or below us.
In all fairness, when you compare those, we lost by 1 at home to a Georgia team that's ranked number 3. Ohio State lost by 20 at home to an Oklahoma team that's ranked number 10.
And they haven't beaten a ranked opponent, and we've beaten MSU and USC.
And we're going for our
margins.
3rd this week.
TCU is a toss-up. I don't know how I feel about them.
Well, let's
wait till they face the
we'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Powerhouse, the Big 12, Iowa State this week, so they start the Big 12 schedule.
Oh my God, if Iowa State beats TCU, I will be unbelievably happy.
To recap, AP rankings actually bad. Notre Dame no lower than 6.
When the college football playoff comes out, 5 or 6 next week after a big one this weekend.
Yeah, if we win big this weekend, I think 5 or 6 is reasonable.
So Josh Adams is better than Saquon Barkley.
I mean, like, as a running back, yeah.
Heisman.
The Heisman is a trophy for an all-around football player in college football. Saquon Barkley is, like, also a starting receiver.
All right, well, he's played 9 more quarters than Josh Adams and rushed for nearly 200 less yards.
Hey.
So he stinks as a running back.
Actually,
and he's, like, okay as a receiver. So I guess according to the national media, when you say bad running back, combine it with like pretty good returner and like decent receiver, you get best player in the nation.
No, but there was that video. There was that video this summer where he was squatting 600 pounds. So that makes him the best player.
I'm sorry for even suggesting Josh Adams was better. I didn't think he could squat 600.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, he also power cleaned 405.
Yeah, Josh Adams, what the fuck do you squat, man? Get the video out there.
Seriously,
the rundown. Let's hear it.
Instagram videos. Do the JJ Watt shit.
I saw our strength and conditioning coach. Huge shout out Bayless for getting this team back. But
actually, that's very true.
He was squatting 500 this past week for his 50th birthday. So
Josh is up there.
So I think we can all agree that Josh Adams is better than Saquon Barkley then. I think that's what this conversation has amounted to.
Again, as a running back.
All I know is that Josh Adams is going to eclipse 1,000 yards this week, and he has a total of 0 fumbles in the season.
Yeah,
averaging almost 10 yards per carry. That's wild.
Oh man, if he has a
100 carries at 10 yards per carry, that's insanity.
If he has a good like long run game this week, he might get up over Bryce Love's yards per carry average because he's been so good, and that would be huge for his Heisman argument because Bryce Love's getting a lot of love.
Don't forget though.
And that's Sports
Illustrated put him in though.
Shout out to SI for finally giving Josh Adams the respect he deserves after no other national media outlet has all season.
But fuck the actual Heisman voting who don't give him as an option.
So for those of you that were living under a rock this past week, Notre Dame played USC in a night game, which presents all kinds of
fun opportunities
for the campus.
Extracurricular opportunities for us students.
If you're not familiar with the process of tailgating, it starts at 8 a.m. So when you've got a night game, you need a technique. You need a program.
Be prepared. So I'll actually sleep in until noon or so, and then immediately hit up the tailgates and just go hard the rest of the day.
So you're skipping kegs and eggs. You're skipping the early morning shotgun.
Unfortunately, yes, but you have the energy to go all day at that point.
How are you gonna do the Brian Kelly get your morning jerk off and shower beer though? If you wake up at noon.
That's a good point.
Everybody knows BK does that. It's a fact.
It's a fact. We were told by some inside sources. So DeShone Kizer is an NFL quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. He started
definition of the word.
Started on Sunday. Did not finish on Sunday. He was taken out.
I think he actually started Friday night, was it?
So,
hey, he's 21 now, so
I mean, it's legal.
A step up.
It's legal. 1, it's legal. 2, he's an adult. He can make his own decisions. And 3, it's for Friday. It was Friday night. Like he plays on Sundays, not now. If he played well, it wouldn't have been a problem.
All right, so
and I think that's what's wrong with our society.
I think what's wrong with this whole thing is he still plays on the Browns either way. So regardless of him going out, the Browns aren't going to win.
Hey, if he played well, they would have won. They won 12-9 in overtime. A real Browns-Titans one for the ages.
It was a barn burner.
Yep.
I honestly was debating suicide throughout that game. Unrelated to the game.
Or not. But yeah, no, I genuinely believe like if he had played well, this wouldn't even be a conversation topic. They would have just let it slide.
I think what would have happened is if he had gone out and played well, they would have hailed him as kind of like the anti-Manziel in that he should be going out every night before the games because he can handle it.
I feel like it'd be more of a just like they wouldn't talk about it. But the moment you play poorly and you make a decision like that, it becomes a media story, and that's unfortunate for him. I mean, I think DeShone has the physical attributes to be a successful NFL quarterback. I think he needed more time to develop, and he's been thrust into a bad situation in Cleveland. But we wish him all the best. We hope that he continues to be a good time and have a good time, just not at the detriment to his career.
Thank you, Brian Kelly. By the way.
I think what he just recognizes throughout all of this, that Saturdays are for the boys, and
that's what really matters.
That's how they should be spent. That's what it comes down to.
Early Saturday morning.
So, Colin Cowherd, after we blew out USC, was reminded that his son didn't get into USC and got a little butthurt. So he had to comment on the big win for Notre Dame.
Every guy listening to me is laughing at the guy that matures early in high school or junior high or 10 or 12 years old, and he has like a mustache at 12, and then you see him 10 years later, and he's never grown, and you're a foot taller. I'm not going to call out the guy in my league. He's a nice guy. I went to college with him, but this is what Notre Dame is. Notre Dame's got a senior-dominated team on the offensive line.
Which is false. You'd think he'd have fact checkers. I guess, we're all used to fake news at this point, though.
And he is like the personification of fake news. He is clickbait if clickbait could be a person.
Pretty much. And so he was very adamant. I mean, Quentin Nelson and Mike McGlinchey, seniors.
Hey, fun fact, I'm from the same hometown as Quentin Nelson. It makes me hot shit. Continue.
And they are very talented offensive linemen. They're going to do very well in the NFL,
says about me.
But it doesn't, and it seems that his argument is that the line, because they're seniors, they're not going to improve over the season like a young player would. However, I think that's an asinine argument considering the fact that these guys are 21, 22 years old. They're maybe 23 if they're a fifth-year senior, like Mike, I think. They're young. They're very young men. They can still get better throughout a season. It seems ridiculous to say that. And just because they're already really talented and really strong because they're older experience doesn't mean that they're not going to get better. I feel like that whole argument's ridiculous.
I think his argument was that since they're seniors, they're going to graduate before the season ends, which will leave us screwed for the end of the season. And I think that's like a fair argument to make. If we're like a senior-dominated team, then how are we going to make the college football this year if we're not going to have our seniors next year? He's probably right.
Actually, you do remember that the national championship game comes after the semester ends. So once they graduate, they're done.
If they have a January graduation, that's it. Like, we're screwed.
Yeah.
And by the way, Ohio State would beat Notre Dame. Alabama would crush them. Penn State would beat them. Wisconsin would beat them. Clemson would beat them. Notre Dame, this is an age thing. They have a senior-dominated offensive line.
And Colin also likes to remind us that Notre Dame's not special. We ain't shit.
And every team, apparently, can beat us. All of them.
Yep. Who have we beaten?
Not Wisconsin.
Not Wisconsin.
Not Wisconsin.
But
we haven't beaten Wisconsin. We haven't beaten PSU. We haven't beaten Clemson. We haven't beaten OSU. He's probably right. We haven't beaten them.
And they just run, and they're one-dimensional. They're more one-dimensional than I even thought. Now, I predicted they would blow out USC because USC, Saturday's win did not prove Notre Dame belongs. It proved USC needs to tweak their coaching staff, and I predicted Notre Dame would win, even though I also said they're a one-dimensional team. But what they do exceptionally well. But a lot of this is age and experience. Notre Dame is seniors all across the offensive line.
So apparently, Notre Dame only does one thing well, which means we can't win a national championship. All we do is run the ball down every other team's throat.
All we do is have the Heisman frontrunner on our team. Continue.
All we do is run at an elite level to a point where nobody could stop us because of our senior graduating offensive line. So how are we going to win games like that? I don't know.
Apparently we do nothing good. Though I would like to remind people of some names like Tevian Coney.
Who's he? What position does he
He plays
play?
the linebacker.
Running back.
The offensive line? Is he a senior?
No, I think it's linebacker.
So he's in the back of the offensive line.
As
Like a quarterback.
As a senior.
Yeah. And then this guy Niles Morgan, he plays the same position.
Our defense is really good. That's what we're trying to tell you.
Awesome defense.
We have an amazing defense.
Shout out to our safeties, Nick Colvin, Drew Tranquil. We've got incredible Sean Crawford.
The turnover king.
Oh my God.
Him a turnover chain at Miami.
At Miami.
Yeah,
I mean, he'll probably deserve it a few times once we play
exactly. I mean, we got the great D-line going. Like these guys have been playing out of their minds.
The point
Not to mention, we have an improving pass game. That's one part of our game that can improve, is Brandon Wimbush, who's getting better.
I mean, he's only running for 100 yards a game. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
One-dimensional.
I
mean, all we're going to do is run the ball down your throats and, stifle you on defense. And then every
and then when you finally stack the box, we'll just, get, 30-yard touchdown passes.
But other than that, how are we going to beat you? We can't.
We can't do it. Yeah.
We're the top 10 in the country in both offensive and defensive efficiency ratings, and I believe we're 6th overall in overall efficiency.
Oh, and you know what's that?
But we only do one thing well.
You know what's that really cool stat is? What was it? 28 rushing touchdowns, but only one rushing touchdown allowed.
But we're one-dimensional.
So all we do well is
we're
rush.
one-dimensional.
But that's all we do. We only run.
So hey, but remember, those other teams.
Georgia's a young team with a new coach. Their ceiling is through the roof.
Their ceiling is through the roof.
No. Actually, I'm pretty sure that the ceiling is the roof.
For us, not for them. That's called.
We have
That's what
seniors on
Colin's
offensive
telling
line.
us.
That's the rundown.